bum along with P. To the poo and to the P. We can poo inside the forest and bum all of the peas. Bum along with P and the penis, poo and pee. Penis, poopy and poo and penis, pee. Penis, hello. Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, stupid prick. Ah, classic. Gets them every time. I was drawing this, and then I was like, oh, isn't it Thursday? Shouldn't you save that for the podcast? And I was like, fuck, it's Thursday. I should shave it. Shave it. It's Thursday. I should shave for the podcast. I should shave it for the podcast. Oh my, whoa, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, I feel like I'm having some kind of out-of-body experience. Oh. Am I even recording? I wouldn't be surprised if I sat here. I started this drawing just because, and then I was like, oh, I should save that for the podcast. And then I sit here, do a whole hour or more, and then look at my phone and realise I hadn't even pressed record. I just checked now and it is. I have to double check. Yeah, it is recording. Fuck me. I don't know what's happened. I slept well. I've been being really healthy lately. I've cut out almost all sugar, carbs. I'm eating almost nothing but fruit and vegetables daily, and rice and beans in the evening mostly, as like a regular meal, and then other things here and there. Drinking lots of water, walking daily, exercising daily in the evening, nightly. What the oh, my head feels weird. Let's get on with the pot. What's that? That's me shaving it because I said shave instead of save. How irrelevant. What the fuck is happening? Oh, I hope I'm dying. I don't. I do a little bit. I'm trying to get away from all the self-deprecation and I'm trying to do better. I need to contact a service about something. That is in the back of my head is something I need to do. And that's also a fucking hell you and you cunt. This is it. This is the last one. This has to be because I'm going to die. I'm going to kill myself. No, I'm not. Shit. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, scratching my head a lot. I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not. I might. No, I'm not. This is an old... I did... fucking hell. I did that. Because, for fuck's sake. I was going through a bunch of old shit. Sure, you look through a bunch of old shit. Oh, fucking hell. This is getting worse and worse. Everything's... shit. What do I have? Well, that's actually some interesting stuff. I was looking through some old stuff. I found this, and I was like, "Oh, old Flesh Bob drawings." And this was another one. So I'm just redoing them. So I redid that one, which came out really nice. I was really, really happy with that. I like the skin tone being different to his skin tone, and then the nylon. See, this was like, I think this was referenced from somewhere. But then this one was fuck. What fuck is happening? I might actually be done. And this one was made up sort of more out of my head, but still keeping in whatever, you get it. And then this one, I don't know. That was me trying to decide where to put everything. One eye, two eyes. See, eyes instead of nipples, but I don't know. And then I did that, and so I'm redoing that. That's cool. Is it? No. Oh, this is going well. Don't forget next week's the burger party. Next week, everybody, if you're watching this, the next episode, have a burger ready. Some kind of, even if it's a small burger, just some shitty like McDonald's hamburger. I love McDonald's hamburgers. If I do get a McDonald's meal, it's usually the fucking chicken strips, the chicken selects. I tried getting a 5 once, but like with everything else, that was too much. So 3 chicken selects, medium fries, and a drink. And I also get just a hamburger on its own, just that. Just because it's nice. I like a nice shitty. They're shitty and thin and wet, but I don't know. There's something I like about them. Just a little hamburger, and then I'll get a milkshake as my dessert. Again, being healthy at the moment, so none of that shit currently. But have a burger, even if it's a shitty little McDonald's burger or a big, nice, fat, like artisanally made burger from a fancy food emporium. Have a burger, make it yourself, buy one, order one, whatever. Have a burger ready for the next episode, because you're gonna get to watch me eat a burger and maybe draw, if I'm still here, because the way this is going, none of my podcasts are really prepared, but I feel so ill-prepared today. I don't know what it is. Maybe here's some other old stuff. I popped this out because I thought I could do another one of those. I might do a flesh bob one, and then I don't know. I don't know what I'd do there, but fuck a flesh bob, because I've revitalised flesh bob recently. You may have noticed on Instagram, so I might do that. That was an old drawing. I thought I'd show that one off because I quite liked it. An old rat fink drawing. I might redo it. Might paint it. I don't know. There's just some drawings I picked out that I just liked. That's an old. This is my friend Anaya, Don Anaya on Instagram. I saw her online and like just pictures of her online, and then eventually I saw more and more here and there, and I tracked her down and found out like who she was. I stalked her, and I just thought she was a big, busty, curvy model. I was like, thought she was really, really pretty. I drew a couple of pictures of her and sent them to her, and she wasn't too impressed. She didn't seem too impressed. And then this is quality viewing. Then somewhere down the way, I think she had seen my page, saw my nude drawings, and then she sent me nudish photos to draw. I was like, hey, I love your drawings. Maybe you could draw me sometime. And I was like, oh, fuck, cool. Like this model I'd seen online is contacting me out of nowhere to be like, hey, I like your art. And then we started talking, and we used to talk really, really regularly. I consider her a dear friend. So, which is just so weird that like I just saw her online randomly as some like hot model girl, and then we ended up becoming really good friends. It's so bizarre. She's Russian. She's really, really talented, hugely talented artist. She does drawings, tattoos. She's really funny, interesting, but furry. So bit on that one. But that's an old drawing I did of her before I knew her as a person. So I pulled that one out because that's quite interesting. That was an old Valentine's Day drawing I did. Am I holding these up way too high? I think I am. Did you see that at all, or was I holding it up here? Sorry, I have no idea what I'm doing. That was an old Valentine's drawing I did. I thought I might... Because, I try to have something new every day on Instagram. It doesn't always work. So sometimes I like to have other drawings to show, and I think this would be a good other drawing to show. Just randomly, just because it's funny. Because I fucking like it. And it's similar in kind to, like, I was doing that a lot at the time, I guess. There was a project years ago online called Bart Akira, where some organisers, they were putting together a compilation of work by different artists to remake the entirety of Akira, which is like this thick of comic book, but completely with Simpsons characters in place of the characters. They had a list of which character was which. So Akira, the child, was Ralph Wiggum. This actually goes this way. And then Tetsuo was Milhouse. Kaneda was Bart, I think. And so you had like Bart in the red jacket on the bike looking really cool, so that made sense. And yes, and it was a really cool idea, and you can probably track the whole thing down. And then every artist was given 2 pages. I think you could choose at first, and then to a point they started just handing out pages. I took these 2 pages, I submitted them, but never heard back, which is a bit of a shame. Because it was just, I think there was a list of these pages are still available if anyone wants to submit work for them. So I chose 2. And did this. I thought it was quite good. Not perfect, but hand painted. This was early comic book work. I hadn't really done much, and it's basically almost completely not traced, but drawn exactly from the actual comic, just with the Simpsons characters in place of the actual characters. There's Akira using his mind powers, making double helixes out of stones, and then Tetsuo pats down onto the ground behind him, comes up to him, and they have a little moment of looking at each other, and then tension. It's not perfect, but I thought it was quite cool, so I pulled that out. And then that was in my portfolio for a while. I put a little Bart Akira thing. That's from... It's on the top of the pile. I used those letters for the thing. So that's cool. That links back to a thing. That's some old paintings of girls. Or that's a girl, an actual girl, called Mew, who I met in London. And that's some of her art that I painted over. Some of my Grominator pieces. The Grominator is a graffiti artist from Canada, I think. I've painted quite a lot of his shit. These ones I sent to him, the originals, so I just have prints of these. Like, that was fan art, I guess, and then these ones are like painted over his drawings, and that was fan art as well. The Grominator. And then that was his drawing, my painting. That's in the paint book. The original artwork for Scotty Young's Fuck Fairyland covers. I pulled these out because I was going to take some photos of these next to the actual printed comics because they're quite cool. That'd be quite a cool little photo thing. Again, something to post on Instagram. These 2 are really cool. I really like those 2. And this might be a little bit cringe. I don't know. This was from a 2000 AD Judge Dredd sample script that you could do the art for and then submit your work basically to 2000 AD as a potential 2000 AD artist. And it was the short story 6-page strip about a kid. Let's see if I can find... I think that's the first page. I guess it goes like that. I think I'm missing one of the pages I'd done. Those are printed. Oh, I did a cover for it and everything. It's not great, but it's about a kid who grows up to be a judge, so I put him in big judge clothes, but it's still a kid. Cycle of violence. So it opens up with this dead lady, and then you see it's in a room, and there's this kid being held at knife point by his dad with Judge Dredd there, and the kid's like, "Ooh, I'm angry." Ooh. and the guy's about to slit his kid's throat. And this is printed off. I don't know why it's printed so bad. But then Judge Dredd shoots, blam, and the kid's like, oh my God. And there's blood on the wall. And then I think that's where I'm missing a page. So then there's him as a young judge, like a trainee judge or something, beating the shit out of somebody. And then he's in front of some judges. And then that's him in the academy telling stories of his past, where Judge Dredd pulled out his gun and the other kids around him. And then that's him as a full judge on the streets. Again, this isn't drawn brilliantly. I never sent it off because I was never fully happy with it. And I pulled this out of the box of old stuff because I figured it could be fun to revisit, even if I don't send it to them, to try and draw this as I would now to make it good. So he's on his bike in the streets and people are looking at him all mad, swearing at him. And he's like, yeah, I'm a fucking judge, fuck you. Judge Klein was his name. Here he's shot a guy in the leg and the guy's angry. And he's being reprimanded by the guy in charge. And then there's a dead hooker out on the street. I don't know how clear or good that is. And this is the guy responsible. I made him look like Homer Simpson on purpose. But they couldn't get him for some reason, so Judge Klein is like, you fucker, I'll get you. So he's in the streets, he sees him here in Mega City 1. He's tracking him down. He takes him, chokes him, ties him to a chair, and he has him. And he beats on him, just like he did there, he's beating him. See, it's a cycle of violence. There's a cycle to it. That's what I was trying to do. He's all bloodied. And then Judge Dredd comes in, bam, kicks the door in, and he's like, what the fuck? And Dredd's like, yeah. And he's like, rrr. And then Judge Dredd points his gun at him, and he's like, yeah, you're a bad judge, Judge Klein. And he's like, back off, Dredd. This is my kill. And he's like, look at you. You're fucking bad. And he's like, what? And then he looks in the mirror and he sees a bad version of himself in the mirror. See, his bad version of himself is swearing at him. And then he's like, fuck you, Judge, you won't take me alive. And then Judge Dredd shoots him. Pop. And that's like cycle from... Obviously, the story's written that way, that it starts with Judge Dredd shooting and ends with Judge Dredd shooting. So, and he continued the cycle of violence from his dad to him and got killed in the same way. It's a really neat little 6-page story. My drawings, they're not bad for the time. This was 2012, 2013 maybe. It's quite a while ago. And it would be fun to try it again, redo it. Try to make it good. Because there's like most things, as I say all the time, none of it's particularly clear. I'd like to try to do more storytelling. It was very specific. The script, it said in the panels like what needed to be in each panel. So there's not too much leniency. But still, I could do a lot better. If I tried it now, I could do a lot better. Like I said, I did a cover for it, got the text on there and everything. It's not it's whatever. Fucking Jesus. And actually, I hadn't planned on that, but that does tie in quite nicely. 2000 AD to 2000 AD. Let's take a look at our art book. I apologise if this episode just seems off. I feel off. I don't know what it is. I cannot put my finger on it, but you get what you pay for. Pay $1 a month. This is what you get for $1 a month. If you paid more than that to my Patreon, then thank you. I'm very appreciative. Maybe I'll give you a hand job or something. I've shown this before. I made a video about Simon Davis and his artwork. I've recently become more enamoured with him. Like, I liked his artwork anyway, but I've been following him on Instagram and seeing more of his stuff, more of his like studio work, his portrait work. and currently he's got a series out in the 2000 AD magazine called Thistlebone, which is like a folk horror story in a similar vein to The Wicker Man, Midsummer, that sort of vibe to it, like cults out in the woods, weird gods and masks and dancing around in circles and shit, that kind of thing. And I've not picked any of it up because I prefer to get them in one book as opposed to all the separate issues. So I'm waiting for that. But I recently found out the one out currently is a second chapter, basically. So there's a first chapter that I guess has been collected. So I looked in my local comic book seller store today and they didn't have it. So I'm going to try and order it. Hopefully, well, maybe next week. I'll intersperse the burger eating with looking at that, which could be quite cool. But I figured, and so I looked today for that book, and I was hoping to show it today. But like I say, it wasn't there for me to get. So I'll order it, try to have it for next week. But in the meantime, I've been meaning to look through this again anyway, so I'll look through this again. This is, and I need to get the other books, or books. Are there multiples? I swear there was like a thing saying if there's more to this. How many more books? I don't know. But yeah, I'll try and get hold of basically as much of Simon Davis's work as possible because I'm growing to fall in love with it a little bit. To be honest with you, fair viewers of the cast, that is pod, I'm always aware of this glare. I don't know if I see it in the same way you do here. When I'm sat down, it's about here, but so I keep having to try to hold the book at weird angles and shit. But this is a Slain book, which, yeah, I've looked through before, but it's just really fucking good. So, yeah, maybe I won't talk too much. I'll just poke at bits and go, oh, look, that's good. Oh, look, that's good. Oh, look, that's good. But, yeah, Simon Davis, I think his name is literally Simon Davis on Instagram. Definitely check him out because he's a portrait artist. Like, that's what he does. But he also does comics. Look at my other video if you haven't already seen it. You can see some of his other comic book work in there. And his portrait work is, I don't want to go too over the top, but it's pretty outstanding. He's a really solid portrait artist. And he uses like these techniques in his portrait work with like very sort of like blocky brush strokes to build up the image. And it works so well for what he does. And he captures really solid likenesses of the people he's painting. That's really, really cool colour work. And this is a similar vibe to Thistlebone, his newer comic that he's got going. Cults and shit. And I've always been fascinated with cults. And I think I've said before, you know, growing up as a Mormon, it's basically a cult. So I have some kind of weird experience of cult-like behaviour and, you know, I can't think of the word. Of course I can't think of the word. This whole fucking episode is a shambles. The types of sort of... I nearly had the word then. What the fuck? Rituals. Cult-like behaviour and rituals. There's a lot of that in the Mormon church. There actually are secret handshakes. Like when you get married, you go to one of the temples, which are obscenely, pristine, large, well-built things with lots of riches involved. And then you get sealed to your partner for eternity, so that when you die, you're still married for eternity. Lots of this. And then you learn, as a couple with priests, there's a veil, like a sheet of fabric, like a curtain between you and the priest, and you put your hand through the veil, and you learn secret like handshakes and shit. And this is all things I've read about. I avoided going through it all myself, and because you're not supposed to know it unless you go through it. It's never spoken about in the church. I've only found out about it through people going through it and then leaving the church afterwards. This is fucking cool, man. The lighting, the colours, like that's quite a naturalistic colour with the blue sky and whatever else, really cool shapes. And then the lighting change here is really solid. And painting with yellow can be really, really difficult. It's best to pay attention to what you're painting, what colour is underneath it. You have to pay attention to that to know what sort of yellows are going to come out. But I think this is gouache as opposed to acrylics, and gouache is a lot more opaque and paints just over stuff a lot easier, which is sensible. Because if it was acrylic, you'd need to have a base coat and a really sort of thick, dense, opaque yellow over the top of that to get these kind of rich colours. Whereas if they're gouache, they go on and look pretty much like that. So that's something. But gouache for me, I find it not difficult to work with, but I don't enjoy working with it. It's very, very chalky on the page, and it's not waterproof. So if you can like smudge it and stuff if you get it wet. Whereas with acrylics, you can be messy and paint over stuff again and again, and it's going to be fine. But yeah, so you get married, get sealed in the temple, and there's these. I'm probably, it goes against the church's standards that I'm even talking about this now. But you have to learn all these secret handshakes because apparently you actually need secret handshakes to get into heaven. Like when you meet Saint Peter or whoever at the gates, he'll put out his hand in like this kind of way. I can move that finger not really fast, quite fast, in case it's needed for fingering anuses. He'll put out his hand in such a way, and then you're expected to do the same and then do the whole hey, ho, ha, pa, dee, pa. Like in the Simpsons episode, The Stonecutters, where he goes, what if I was to shake your hand in this way? And they go, hoo, ha, dee, pa, pa, ta. Oh, I didn't realise you were one of them. Hey, yeah, come on into heaven. Which is just ludicrous. Like, if heaven is what it is, then they'll go, oh, it's you. I know you. You're good. Come on in. You don't need the secret handshake and the secret passwords and shit to get into heaven. But there's a lot, if you look through Mormon history, there's a lot of I think Joseph Smith, who was the guy who set it up, was like a mason, like a stone mason. That's like where the stonecutters parody is. I'm on this page because this is really, really cool. I love that's them looking up at the thing, but then there's this almost an insert panel, but it's not even a panel, it's just the characters looking back up at the thing. There's a lot of that. A lot of what I love about this artwork is it's like one big picture with other pictures laid on top instead of panels. So that's like one big image, and then, they are panels here, less so like here. And they've got like the straight edges like it is a panel, but it's not a panel. It's really good. And I think that comes from being a fine artist first and then doing comics. But yeah, Simon Davis has galleries representing him, selling his artwork and stuff, like big portrait pieces and things. So the fact that he does comics as well is quite not amazing, not outstanding, but it's another thing. I like this blue tone here. Again, I've not read any of this, so I don't fucking know what's going on. But I've seen in his newer work, in Thistlebone, that's a very sort of like... Slain is more fantasy-based, but Thistlebone is obviously there's an element of fantasy to it, but it's set in like basically modern-day England, so it's quite grounded in reality. And there's characters in there with this blue skin tone, so I guess... I'm not suggesting he does, I don't know, but it might be he uses this tone, one thing, just to make the comic look more interesting, but maybe also to separate characters so it's easier. Because, if you had two people with the same skin tone here, it would be like, cool, whatever. But just having that blue tone, there's just something about it that really does make it more visually appealing. So that's something. That shit in the background is just cool. I love the angular lines he uses. Again, he uses those in his portrait work as well. And I use those as well. But I was using those way before I knew this guy's work. So that's one thing I can say is not copied from him. I copy a lot from a lot of people, but that's not one of them. But yeah, so not to say like, oh, I understand cults more than most people because I was raised as a Mormon. A Mormon's basically, I'm just saying there are certain things about the environment in which I was raised that are very, very similar to the sorts of things that go on in cults and stuff. And even down to like, everyone in the church refers to each other as brother and sister. Like I'd be brother McLaughlin because that's my surname. So it'd be now here's brother McLaughlin to talk about this, that and the other. And it's sister this and brother that. And you have priests and deacons and bishops. And it's very, very cult-like. I don't know. I've had people comment saying, "Oh, maybe you shouldn't talk about religion so much because it makes you sound like a fucking buffoon or whatever." But if I speak about religion, it's usually in a place coming from my experiences. I'm speaking about my experiences, which have led to my current opinions on religion and such. I'm not some fucking twat atheist going, oh, actually, if you look at the evidence, there's no evidence for God, but there's much more evidence for evolution and I'm saying I was raised in this environment, in a heavily religious environment, with these weird things and behaviours going on which attract a certain kind of person, a few different kinds of people, and certain people it can change and manipulate in certain ways, and that informs my opinion on religion as a whole when I've seen one particular aspect of it from deep in the inside. I think I've said before, I've been in a position where I can baptise people. I've baptised a person into the church because of where I was at the time. I had the authority within that organisation to baptise a person like a priest would. I had ordained upon me certain powers within the church that I could baptise people into the church. I could give people blessings. I could put my hands on people's heads and say a prayer and have them be fucking healed or whatever. But then that happened one time. The only time I was going to do that, I had my hands on their head. I think this is when I was 100%. Because when I was a teenager, I was like, I'm not really down with the church, so I'm going to just stop going. And then I went back a few years later in my early 20s, partly for a girl, partly because I was lost and I wanted to find shit out. But then there was this point where I put my hands on someone's head to give them a blessing, and I paused for, it felt like minutes, it might have only been seconds. And I sort of cleared my throat and I said, okay, let's go again. And then had my hands on the head and it was just quiet. And then I just stopped and I walked out the room and walked out the building because I was just like, wow, I got nothing. Like these blessings are supposed to come from God. You're supposed to have divine fucking shit happen in your head so you know what to say. And I was just like, it was wind noise, just... So I walked out very embarrassed, and I think that was the moment I was like, there's nothing. There's nothing going on. This is fun to look at, but I'm talking about completely unrelated stuff. Fucking look at that, the colour. The problem with looking at this is my Gun Viking comic is literally at the printers as we speak, as I speak, as you watch. Within the next week or so, it will be in my hands, and I can sell them and give them to people. But the problem is looking through stuff like this, I'm like, oh, I should have used that for Gun Viking, should have used that for Gun Viking. I did a little bit of this kind of red hands thing, but because, you know, his arms were cut off and then grew back somehow. That fist is really, really cool. All of the trees, that takes so long to paint, man. I like these few pages where it's the 3 tall panels. I like that. I also love that you can see where he's like painted over some of the paint that's gone outside of the panel, and in some cases just left it. Little splats in the gutters and stuff. Because, you know, there is a thinking that's like, oh, it all has to be neat and tidy outside of the panels or whatever. But, you know, it's a painted comic. There's no reason to try and hide the fact that there's paint involved. Again, that's a really nice one big image with a few panels and then that there. My name is Slane Macroth. That's Scottish. What would it be in Irish? Top of the morning tea. If I'm doing accents, which, you know, it's arguable that I can do accents, I need a jumping off phrase. So like, if I'm going to do Irish, I need to do the fucking stereotype. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. How you doing? What a guitar but the tear. Hey to tur. My name is Slane Macroth. My name is Slane Macroth. And I am eminently severe in the work of violence. Violence. Or if it was Scottish, it would be, have a drink, Willie. That's my Scottish phrase. Have a drink, Willie. My name is Slane Macroth, and I'm eminently severe in the work of violence. Violence! What is it, violence, laddie? I had an English teacher who was Scottish, and she said, oh, you got to do your coursework here, and you will not pass your exams if you didn't do your coursework. That was fun. And then I didn't pass my exams because I didn't do my coursework. Although I think I got a C in English as an average. I think I failed English, which is weird. I failed English language but passed English literature. English language being the study of the language itself, and English literature being the study of like writers and poets and stuff. Somehow I passed the exam about writers and poets but failed the one about language. And like now, like I one of the things I'm proud of is my knowledge and use of the English language in general. And the fact that I passed exams writing about fucking poets and shit, God knows how that happened. And then as an average, I think I passed English in general, but barely, by the skin of my teeth. The blues here, this is really cool, the animal masks and shit. Cool stuff. More good colour scenes and things. The thing on the wall, and then it comes out and it's like, oh, what's going on? Obey as a dead body obeys. God, man. Like, I spent years painting comic book issues to form one book, and this guy, I don't know how long it took him, but he's done several of these books and then other books on top of that, and fine art canvas paintings and shit. Oy, he's warped out. That's cool. I like the big, almost goofy looking big hands holding his axe, and then that whole thing's cool. The red eye's really nice. Because my go-to would be a big bulbous white eye with a tiny little dot for the pupil in it with maybe a red rim, like my anus, you know, to make it look bloodshot and whatnot. The shapes are really cool there, the angular shapes, where he's warped out, and the swoosh of the hair and the axe and everything. That's so well done. Like, because again, one big image, 3 insert panels, but then that is almost a panel in itself. And for this whole space, it's basically terrain with rocks and stuff, but it's so well laid out. And the colours for like moss and shit on the rocks, little paintings of people. That's pretty badass. Guy pulling his skin off. That's really smart. The guy, the face, the hands. And then he pulls his skin off. Fuck, that's good. As a full page piece. And again, this is all the background. It's all the same piece with inserted panels. God. It's so fucking good. Again, I think that speaks to his, fine artist nature or whatever, that he has such a strong sense of layout and what makes an image work, and balance and colour and stuff and light. He has to fight another warp monster man. Oh, fuck, that's so cool. And all I can think is, I want to steal every idea from this for Gun Viking. And this is really cool, because a lot of times when you see painted comics, like occasionally you'll see, black and white pages for inked comics, but all it really is the page without the colour, which again, it's cool to see, but when it's a painted comic, it's so different to see the drawing as opposed to the painting. And they'd almost work, if you threw in some digital colour or whatever. But the fact that they're painted on top of that is just something else. Something else entirely. Well, something like that wouldn't work. That needs the paint over it to give it the texture of all the leaves and shit. But ultimately, fucking whatever. Who gives a shit? Who gives a fucking shit? And obviously the fire needs to be, a colorist, a good, digital colorist could do the fire there, but having it painted, it's just better, innit? It's just fucking better. And I do plan on, when I've got Gun Viking, the first bunch of copies are going to be sent to publishers, Image, IDW, Titan, Fantagraphics, a couple of other places. I'm going to send one to 2000 AD with a note saying, this is Gun Viking, and there are, as well as this book, I have other stories which I could tell in 6-page increments. They could go in the comic, in the 2000 AD. There's like a 1 in a billion chance that they'd actually say, hey, send us, an example of these 6-page stories and we'll see. But if you don't try, you don't know, do you? So I'll do that. I'm going to send them to a few sort of magazines and stuff, Juxtapose. I send basically every book I publish, I send a copy to Juxtapose just to be like, hey, I'm here. doing a thing, review it, put it in your magazine, I don't know, something. And there's a few shops in London, I think, that will take it and sell it. And then, then I'll sell it. And I'm getting more copies than I've gotten of any book before. And with that, it's the most expensive to get it printed than I've done before. So a large sum of the money from sales will go towards the printing costs. But, I mean, maybe that's why I'm feeling really weird lately. And, this podcast episode is certainly evidence of that. God, I don't know what I'm doing. And I think part of it is maybe I was expecting to feel a greater sense of accomplishment having finished Gun Viking and having it go off to the printers. But I feel very little at the moment in that respect. So, I mean, maybe once I've got it in my hands, once it's a final finished product in my hands, I'll have some stronger sort of like reward kind of feelings. But I guess also I do have a strong sense of I need to make money outside of commissions. Like I need actual, not that that's not actual work, but like I need actual work. Like I need some kind of more regular, just paid work in art in some kind of respect. So a publisher to pick up my book and get a wider distribution to have some more money coming in, which will hopefully lead to other work. Or, the dream, if 2000 AD picks up Gun Viking or me to do art for something for them on a more regular basis. I have a really strong sense of a need for that at the moment. And not because I want to get away from social media necessarily, but I feel very, I don't even know how to put it into words, but I know, very anxious that my sole income is basically through Instagram. Even if I sell my book, it's largely through people on Instagram. If I sell art, it's largely to people on Instagram. If I do commissions, they're almost exclusively people on Instagram. And it's just coming to a point where it's like, for one thing, if Instagram fucking fucks off for some reason, or I get deleted or something happens, that's my income gone. Also, Instagram is changing so much that it's getting worse and worse for artists to grow and share their stuff on there. So it doesn't feel like it's sustainable, and I think I'm feeling a lot of anxiety about that. So I'm trying to make more happen as much as I can. I don't know. That said, I mean, once Gun Viking's out, I'm going to take a little bit of time to get commissions and stuff done, make a little bit of money. Then it'll be on to, I'll do some kind of GoFundMe or something to fund the How to Draw Comics book, which would be quite fun. That'll be quite different from anything I've done so far, I think, so that should be quite a fun one. Oh, this is a weird one, man. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I'm in a weird space. I've been feeling way more positive in general lately, but I think those feelings are like, you know, I can only do so much for so long. I'm anxious. I think I want Gun Viking to do really well. I don't necessarily believe that it will, but I want it to. And my fear is that I'm not scared that it won't do well. I'm more scared how I might react if it doesn't do well. Like if it doesn't do, you know, if it's not as successful as I want it to be, if I get more rejection letters from publishers and stuff. Not that I'm going to do anything drastic, I'm going to kill myself. But just, I have a tendency to get upset and to shrink into myself. And I can see that happening if Gun Viking flops, for lack of a better term. And I'm sure, you know, again, on Instagram, I think enough people will like it that it should sell well. And people do seem to like it and are pretty stoked and excited. And I'm stoked and excited for it as well. But as much as I hate the idea, it has to make some kind of money. And ideally, it would lead to making more money in other places. But I'm not sure I believe that it will. And I'm not saying this, I don't want or need for people to go, no, Ewan, it's so good, you're going to make loads of money, you're going to be fine. Because regardless of that, I might even feel that myself to a degree. But it's just, you know, in the back of my head somewhere going, I don't know. So all I can do is wait and see. I'll have it back from the printer soon. The book, which, you know, the book's been fucking 6 years at least in the making. And I've had the actual idea of the trade paperback, the graphic novel, the final book in my head for the last few years of, wouldn't it be cool to have it all in one book? And now I'm finally about to. So I'm so stoked on that. But, you know, it doesn't come without worries elsewhere about other things. I just want someone to see it in their mailbox, pick it up, look through it and go, huh, this is pretty cool. Yeah, we'll publish this. Send me an email. Hey, Ewan, we really liked your Gun Viking comic. We'd love to put it out. And I can just be like, yes, fucking yes. Finally. Because I'm happy to be a self-published artist or whatever. But, you know, maybe I'm just tired of scraping by barely, even after only a couple of years. It'd be nice to make enough money that I can just relax and create work for a while rather than constantly be having to make money, which I know that's working life. I'm not, it's just, oh, fuck, I don't know. I don't even like this. Oh, it's not terrible, is it? It's just, I don't know, it's fucking whatever. All right, let's, shall we switch it up? Shall we, Gun Viking is about to be finished. I've put the cover up on my Patreon, if you haven't seen it already. The front and back cover and the spine to give you a little taste of how it's going to look when it's finished. I'm happy with how it's all looking so far. I'm excited to get the proof back from the printer and then to get the final copies back. I think it's going to be a really cool book. Yeah, even if it doesn't do well, stop talking about whether or not it does well. It's going to be a cool book, and I'm really glad to be at a point that it's going to be finished and it's going to be a book. So that's cool. I'm trying to stay positive. I'm really trying to stay positive. HIV positive. Get it? AIDS. That was a thing. I don't even find AIDS jokes funny. Even when I say it, I don't find it funny. I just say it to say it. Like, there's nothing funny about AIDS. I mean, sometimes, like in general, swearing isn't mature or funny. But if you time it right, if you put a swear word in the right place at the right time, it can be very, very funny. And maybe AIDS is similar to that. I think if it's unexpected, like anything, the funniest things are unexpected. That's why the funniest jokes are the ones that you think you see where it's going and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's this. But then they flip it and you're like, oh, fuck, okay, that's very funny. And so I think AIDS is maybe like that. Like, it's not funny in general on its own. Like, oh, yeah, AIDS, great. But if you're not expecting AIDS and then you get AIDS, then it's funny. So if I say AIDS or Jews or fucking fart piss. Okay, fart piss is funny, but yeah, maybe it's not. Gun Viking though. I'm going to do an audio book of Gun Viking. I am. Should we draw? I'm going to draw a burger. Oh look, I was drawing Gun Viking with one big arm. That's great, Ewan. Maybe shut up. This is a burger. And it's got a nose and eyeballs like Flesh Bob. And a penis. Legs and feet, obviously. Yeah, I'm going to do an audiobook of Gun Viking, which I think I did of Gun Viking to a point, like the first 2 or 3 issues maybe just the first 2. But I'm going to do a full, like, read through properly, and it'll be an audio file that you can download. And yeah, that'll be fun. It'll just be me. I'll be reading it and explaining it as if it was an actual audio book. I'm going to try not to make it like I'm just reading through a comic. I'm going to try to, add words where necessary to make it appear as if it's an actual book. And it might be good. So that's something. That'll be, on Patreon, whatever. I'll have T-shirts and lunch boxes and trading cards. Now, as I've said, an action figure is something I'd fucking love to have. A Gun Viking action figure made at some point would be fucking amazing. I want to get hold of some toy makers on Instagram and see if they can do anything about that. And a video game would be pretty fucking cool. Movie... I think if there's a movie, they'd just fuck it up and I'd hate it. I can't see them doing it justice. I'd want the toy to be like Street Sharks, where they had like a fleshy body. Not fleshy, but like a squidgy rubber body, and then more solid arms and legs. I'd want it to be like that. That'd be really cool. And stuff. There's been a few episodes like this, I'm aware. This isn't the first of like, oh, what am I doing? It's all going wrong. And it's not all going wrong. I'm doing okay. I think I don't know if I said before, but I checked my bank, which I have a problem with checking my bank account, or I just don't, and I assume I've probably got money, and there has been instances where I haven't had money, and I've checked my bank account far too late and realised, shit, I have no money, I need to fucking do something. And then I checked it recently, and I had more money than I expected there. Not lots, not loads and loads of money, but more than I expected. And those horror drawings, they sold quite well. So that's a little bit more money coming in. And then Gun Viking's coming out, and hopefully that should sell pretty well. So there will be money coming in. So I'm not desperate for cash or anything. I'm doing okay. I'm trying to be healthy. I don't even know what I'm saying. Wasn't I saying something completely different just a minute ago? I was talking about episodes with that I have where I'm obviously not doing great. Yeah, it's not even that I'm not doing great. I don't know. Like I say, I think I got Gun Viking finished. Like when I did the last page of Gun Viking, I was like, oh, okay, that's just done now. Whereas before, when I finished like the last page of, issue 3, I was like, fuck, it's finished. That's so cool. And I laid it all out on my floor and then, got it printed, and it was like, yes, fucking cool, it's done. And so I figured once I got the last page of issue 4 done, ready for the book, I'd be like, fuck, this is so good. But I was so like meh about it. I just didn't really have much of a feeling at all. And so I'm holding out hope that like I say, once I get it in my hands as a final finished book, I'll be more hype about it. But it's, how I'm supposed to be hyping people up about the book that's come out. And maybe they're going to be the people are going to be the ones that hype me up about it. I guess we'll have to see how that goes. It's just so weird. I'm used to feeling that way in general because of, depression and stuff. Oh, look at that beautiful sunset. Well, it's a sunset. Yep, I see it. I see that it's a sunset. I know it's supposedly a beautiful thing, but I got no feeling about it. Which, that's literally like textbook fucking definition of depression. But so I'm used to feeling like that. But then, when you finish a book that's basically 100 pages and you're going to put it out and it's been years in the making, I just expected to feel something more, It was just a bit underwhelming. Like when you have a wank and you sit there for 45 minutes or an hour or more, edging, looking at all different kinds of porn, and when you finally get to the point you're about to finish, you're expecting a big fat load, and it just goes, and you're like, oh, that feels like a waste of time now. Could have been doing so many other things instead of looking at porn for an hour and a half. It just feels like, I just expected... be fucking positive, you, and that's what we're doing. We're being positive. I'm going to use this as the... not advertising, but like the publicity image for my burger party. Next week, there you go. Next week is the burger party, so be ready for that. That's going to be... I'll try to have something fun planned for it, not just I am eating a burger. Hopefully I can get hold of that other book, the Thistlebone comic, because that'd be quite cool to look through. Maybe I'll have the Gun Viking proof by then to show. I don't know if I want to show that off though, or if I want to... Maybe I'll sell it. If I do get a copy. I don't know if the proof gets sent to me or if I just look at it through pictures or video or anything. I'm not sure exactly how that works with this printer. I've not had a physical proof before. But yeah, a burger party next week. Be prepared for fun and hygiene. I'll try to be a bit more upbeat than I was this week. All I can do is apologise. I think that's what I was saying before. Is I'm aware there have been a few episodes like this where, it's not to be helped. It just is what it is. I can't be fucking hype and upbeat all the fucking time, even once a week. as much as I might try to be. So I'm sure you'll all understand that it's just one of those things this week, you know. Just not fucking high energy thing this week. It feels like it's been 2 hours. It hasn't, but it feels like it's been that. Oh yeah, I got nothing. I mean, there's every chance that the final Gun Viking book will be finished and published by next week, so maybe I'll be able to show that off then. Who knows? Thursday, so a week from now. It's unlikely that it will be finished and in my hands. But if it is, I may be able to make the first showing of it on the podcast. That would be quite cool. The 100th episode, Burger Party, first look at Gun Viking full book. Don't hold out hope for that, but could happen. Otherwise, I'll leave it there for now. Oh my God. What a mess. I feel like I should say something that's upbeat. I don't know. I'm doing a lot better. Let's put it there. I'm doing a lot better. And if you're in a bad way right now, if you're not feeling great, it takes a lot. I did that drawing, didn't I, of Ewan's through the years. And then the last one is Ewan, 32-year-old me now, dragging himself out of the melted puddle that he'd become. And that's where I'm at. So I'm not a motivational speaker, and I'm not trying to be a motivational speaker. I'm just saying I'm currently in a place where I didn't expect to be able to find myself. I didn't expect to be able to pull myself out of any kind of depression and start exercising and eating better and doing better. I didn't think I had it in me to do that, but I'm doing that now. So fucking you can do it too. Maybe you can't. Yeah, you can. It's good. Gun Viking's coming. You've got that to look forward to. Don't kill yourself because Gun Viking's coming out soon. That'll do. The end.